Hello guys, my name is Sub-Zero-Exabyte and I am having a fantastic day. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic day as well, and if not yet hope you are going to have a fantastic day. But I think I know a certain way how I can make your day fantastic. And that is what we are going to do right now, because we are going to play some Minecraft. I hope you like the new Roblox video. Today we are going to look for mobs that should have been in Minecraft. Alright, so let's go. But I think this is going to be our vacation house, because I do really need a safe vacation house for personal reasons. Oh, but do not forget about the floor, because otherwise the creepers will still blow up and they could make a tunnel underneath and we would still not be safe. And the trolls can lay some TNT down and we should still be safe, because they would not dig a tunnel because they are trolls, and trolls do not have anything better to do than to lay down TNT and ignite it, or to pour a bucket of lava on top of your house and your house would then burn down. But we are not going to dig down anymore, we are just going to lay obsidian on top of this dirt and it should still be safe. I mean, it is a lot of obsidian that you need to gather with your pickaxe if you are going to build this in survival, and it is also going to require you a lot, and I mean a lot of spiderwebs. Because spiderwebs are pretty troll-proof, even though you can just chop them down with a sword really quickly, but still it helps a lot. But let me tell you a story about a spider named Jeff that lived in between the two walls in a house that was also made out of obsidian, just like this house. There was no roof on that particular house, so the spider was climbing on top of the outer wall and got stuck in some spiderwebs that were not actually made by a spider, but they were just laid down by a human that was called Steve. And the spider named Jeff did not like human Steve, so he wanted to terrorize his nemesis human. He decided he could do the best by going in between the walls, and because there was no roof he did just do that. He lived in between the walls for a couple of days, but he struggled to get food because you know he lived in a wall, so there is not much food. But lucky for him, the way he got in was the way he could get out, and because he could get out like that he can get food on the outside. So he catched some cows and stuff and he got a lot of food like that, so that was nice for Jeff, and Jeff was very happy about that because food is happiness. And Jeff was getting a bit chubby, but Jeff did not care because all he did was sat there in between those two walls and eat. The only exercise that Jeff got was getting the exercise from hunting, and he hunted not only cows, but in the first stage of his experience of living between the walls he only did eat cow because a lot of cows lived nearby. But he did not want to eat beef anymore. His stomach craved for some other food, because if you only eat one thing for the rest of your life it would get really boring. But on the other hand you would know how to cook it very well, so that is nice. But he hunted some sheeps, because why have abs when you can have kebabs? But the kebab did not fill his stomach enough because it was just some sheep. But Jeff was not happy because Jeff did not like the kebabs and it made him sad. There was also no McDonald's because it was Minecraft, and his roommate Steve did not cook very well. Steve did not have a clue that a spider was living there, because who in the right mind would suspect that? But the spider found out that if he hunted at night he could eat some zombies and other mobs, and he thought that was pretty rad because he liked to kill bad guys. He was really happy because he made the world a better place, and not many people like to make the world a better place, and those people are only busy with bettering their own life because that is what is important to them. But now those people still don't have anything, and Jeff did, so Jeff was happy because he at least tried to better the world. But Jeff did not yet fulfill his duty to fill his belly, and because of that he was still sad. But Steve was also sad, so they were both sad because they both did not have a good love life, because they did not have a love, neither of them, so they were sad like I already said 100 times. But Jeff was still in the walls, and Jeff did not love his life, so he decided to love someone else. But Steve was hungry as well, and Steve did not have an oven, the poor sod. So one day Jeff decided to confront Steve because they were both hungry, but Steve had meat and Jeff did not have meat. But Jeff knew how to cook, and he even had a little OPVEN in his spiderweb fort. But yeah, Steve had meat and Jeff an oven, so Jeff convinced Steve to let him cook the meat. Well, TSTVE was pretty impressed because I don't think anyone has ever seen a spider cook. But it was actually a really delicious meal, and I say that pretty funny. Delicious. Hiya, I knew that I would say it like that. Man, now I am getting hungry, and I am hungry just like Steve. Maybe I have a spider in the wall, I do not know, but it would be really cool, and I would call that spider Jeff as well, and he would be my personal cook because spiders cook delicious meals as Jeff did. But yeah, Steve had some pig meat in his possession, and Jeff made a nice meal, and Jeff cooked it good, and Steve was finally happy, and Jeff was having a good time as well, even though they were human and spider. They had some tea as well and they were having such a good time that they danced with each other. But I did not yet tell you how Jeff cooked with his special method, did I? No, because I was not yet done with my story and I already started talking about something else because I get distracted pretty quickly. But anyways, fudge that entire story. What do you all think about this masterpiece with all of this lava? And the thing is that I am not done placing lava for a long time because this is like the spider webs, the liquid lava I mean by the spider webs. And these lava blocks are just for nice reasons and that we have maximum level of security. This is like a prison because this level of security is only found in prisons, but prisons have barbed wire because prisons like barbed wire so much. But what I am curious about is why don't they just use lava man like it is 2017, like just use lava man, because convicts cannot escape through lava because that would literally burn them because it is lava and lava is pretty darn overpowered. But let's keep on expanding with this lava because lava is, yes, it is really overpowered. If you use your mind you don't even need to make walls, because if you make an island high up in the sky and you let lava fall down and water as well, it will make a cobblestone wall and then you don't have to spend money on the people that build walls. Was nice. Out here it is kind of cold and I don't know what to do, but it really feels like I am dreaming. Like this is unreal. Look at the shadows as well. They look mad good. The caves are just kind of normal, but they could make everything realistic. Well, they could, but they didn't. But the water compensates for that and the water is really good, so I don't think that any other biome would look better than like the water. But talking about dreaming, I had this crazy dream yesterday, and I am not sure if it was actually yesterday, but I had this crazy dream where I was just at my house, yeah, and like this huge bird came to my house and I kinda befriended it and that was all nice and stuff. And it was like cool because the people that I lived with were cool with me having a bird as a friend that would basically just live with me in the group, and we were having some good times and stuff. But then one day this guy came over which I didn't really like, but my friends liked that guy, and then all of a sudden this bird that I befriended that I didn't even give a name. Wait, hold up, let's call him something along the lines of like Harold or something. Yeah, from now on it is Harold the bird, and he was a darn cool bird. But anyways, wait, hold up, I have to mention how good the lighting from a torch looks, and when you swing your sword the thing that comes after the sword, that looks really nice. Wait, where was I with my bird story? I am not even sure anymore. Wait, yeah, what am I talking about? Well, anyways, you might have forgotten where we were. Let me continue. So, this guy came over which my friend liked, but I didn't really like him, and my friend knew that I didn't like him. I wasn't like rude to him ever in my life, but I think he did have that feeling that I didn't really like him. And all of a sudden we were sitting in my yard and we were having a good time, and like after an hour I started to get pretty angry thanks to that guy. Not safe anymore, guys, so let's immediate evict the situation. Don't go home, guys. Let's go to Australia where it is safe, and that is the land of Steve Irwin, so we are safe there with the spirit of the great Steve Irwin. He will keep us safe from all these creatures, because I don't think it is very normal that a robot just appears here. And I don't really feel safe anymore. But the robot came over to us and we have direct access to his knees, so let's pretend that we are Bruce Lee and we can punch really fast. And the robot is dead, or is it still alive? I don't know anymore, guys. No, it is definitely alive. Run, we need to evacuate to Australia. Steve Irwin, if you hear this, keep us safe, man. Guys, there is still time. Go to the nearest airport that has a direct flight to Australia. Go there and be safe, my friends. I shall sacrifice myself for the greater good. It has been fun, guys, but now the time has finally come. I think this was a message from God that all the machines in the world are going to take over. Keep eyes on your toaster, because next time that you are going to want to throw some bread in there, who knows what your toaster is going to do. I don't feel safe anymore. There are so many robots all over the world, and now my coffee machine is going to be evil towards me. While it normally should help me get up in the morning, but now it gets me up in the morning just to run away from it because it might just want to kill me. But this might be a good moment to start about the story that all is going to start in the year 2020. And that is basically code name for the year 2020. And there is going to be a robot revolution, and everyone will have to gang up to defeat their former house, because just like my toaster and my coffee machine, my washing machine is going to be a great enemy to me, and it will try to wash my face clean off, and like that we cannot do a face reveal, man. But anyways, in that year there was one robot that started this revolution, and that robot, his name was also Steve. just like Steve Irwin. And his maker gave him that name because he originally was made to defeat some crikey mighty Croc's mate. But that did not happen because he was too mighty for his maker. He was a great robot, not a small one. And the professor had installed a small piece of technology in the robot's arm, and when the robot that is named Steve would walk next to, let's say, a television, the television would get up and suddenly be a walking robot, and it would not service your needs to watch television anymore, but now it would just attack you out of pure anger. And that robot that is named Steve was built in Melbourne, which is a pretty large city in Australia. And that robot was walking through the city, and to compare the robot to something that was on the street, well, it was almost 2 times a city light that stands on the side of the road in Melbourne, and those lights were pretty darn big. And now there was a robot that wanted to destroy humanity that was walking through the streets summoning all the electronics in the area, and it was going to walk through the entirety of Australia. But of course, the Australian army would need to stop that, and they needed to come up with a plan that was going to destroy the robot. But like that robot that we previously fought, this robot did not have any weak spots, well, not that we know of yet. So, we went to the professor, and the professor told us that there was an off button on his back between his buttocks and his spine, and we needed to lift something there, and the button would be exposed, and it could be pressed by throwing something at it, or just by pushing it. But all of the lights were off in the city, and we could not even see the robot his back, and because of the technology that was used in light bulbs, when the robot named Steve would walk near the light bulbs that were installed in the ceiling, they would just get out, and those light bulbs would fight something that was a threat to them. And you might say, well, sub, they are just light bulbs. But that is the thing, they were out of the ceiling, so they would not suffice us from light, and they would also not shine when they are walking because they did not have a power outlet. But they were driven by the strength of Steve's arm, that small piece of technology that the professor thought was going to change the world. Well, it did, professor, because you are on a path to be the blame of the end of humanity. But it was late, and it was almost 10 o'clock, and when it is 10 o'clock the lights go out. But humanity survived that night because they just hid in Amish communities their barns, and those people don't have technology, so it is a shame because they also cannot watch my videos because they do not have computers. But well, they did something for humanity, which is keeping it alive one night at a time. But it was 7 o'clock in the morning, and the sun was already shining. It was not warm, but the sun was shining, so it was day again, and the humans could see. Of course, some of the robots were equipped with night vision, because well, it makes the story way cooler than if they did not have night vision, because night vision is freaking amazing, because you can just see at night and everything is green, and it is just so cool. But humanity took a break that lasted just like 35 seconds, and they could just rest for a bit because it was not easy to be running all the time from the robots. Because I might not have told you, but the evacuation was happening. People in Melbourne already needed to run to the north of Australia, and the cities and villages near Melbourne were threatened to be taken out by technology as well. But those people needed to run, and the people that did have a car or a scooter or any transportation way were lucky. If you had a van, then you could take your important stuff from your house and go on the road and board a plane and go to somewhere safe, because I might have told you that if you go to Australia, you are going to be blessed by the spirit of Steve Irwin. But I don't think you guys understand that this robot was actually Steve Irwin. So, if you are threatened and you are blessed by Steve Irwin, but your biggest enemy at the moment is Steve Irwin, well, what should I tell you, mate? You need to run, boy. But the Grim Reaper needed to come on all kinds of occasions in Australia, because some of the people got taken out by their toaster, some might have been knocked out by their light bulbs that ganged up on them, which is a pretty sad way to die, and some just were chilling, and then all of a sudden there was a ring of the entire technology that was in the house around them, and those people, trust me, did not have a chance to fight back because the technology was so hardly driven by the robot named Steve that those pieces of technology would not give up until they were not driven by Steve anymore. And there was only one way that would happen, and that is with the button that was near his buttocks. And if all of the technology ganging up on humanity was not enough, there were also some weird looking bugs that were just basically bed bugs, but then in a very large version, and they could grow to be at least the same height as a grown man. And if those things bite you, well, you are not in for a surprise, because like it looks like it is going to hurt like, and those things bite pretty hard. Just like Steve Irwin, we just died from an animal, but Steve died from a Steingran. We just died because of a large bedbug that somehow got big and was a threat to humanity as well as the robots were. So, the humans were in a bit of a pickle, mate, and that was not good for them because no one likes to be in a pickle. Do you guys know that guy that stole the Declaration of Independence in that one movie? Well, that guy is called Nicolas Cage. But now that he was in a pickle, that was not his name anymore, but he was now called Pickles Cage. And trust me that he did not like to have that name just because his name was Nicholas and it kind of rhymed with pickles. But people, I am going to end the video right here. I hope to see you back in the next one. Goodbye.